Let's look at the Nick Shirley. Okay.
I'm here today to speak on behalf of all hardworking, law-abiding, tax-paying citizens here inside of the United States. I've helped bring to light widespread fraud that's happening inside our nation, and we the people have had enough of our hard-earned money going towards fraudsters as if it's no big deal.
True.
As I speak here, I want to ask everyone a question. How much do we trust when we pay our taxes it's going to benefit our nation?
0%. I know my taxes are going to bullshit.
People erupted during the Boston Tea Party over just a few percentages as they believe they were being taxed without representation.
Yep.
Nowadays, we have the representation, but do we trust our representatives?
True. Give me 1 second. I have to use the bathroom. Very true.
My name is Nick Shirley, and I made a 41-minute video that I posted on platforms like X and YouTube. My video received over 100 million views.
It's a lot.
And it created instant change within our government. As the federal government launched investigations and departments such as Health and Human Services froze over $185 million in child care funding until businesses can prove they are legitimate businesses.
Thank God.
I actually became aware of the fraud that was happening in Minnesota in June of 2025 as I was there for a separate video in Minnesota and started reaching out to me, asking me if I was making a video on the fraud. I said, well, what fraud?
Yeah.
And this lady, she was a real estate agent, and she says, well, I'm having a hard time selling my properties because people are curious about these assisted livings that are popping up next door to some of the houses that we're buying or the home health care clinics that are popping up, and we don't know who's next to these houses that we're trying to sell. And I said, well, I'm not going to come and make a video if I don't have any proof. So therefore, I left Minnesota, and I continued to look for fraud in the best way I could. And as I was getting my own information, a man by the name of David reached out to me, and he said, hey, I have been investigating this fraud for years now.
So that's the old guy. That's how he met him.
I have been driving by these child care centers. I've never seen a single child.
Oh, shit.
And I have received the information from the state of Minnesota
I didn't even know
how much money these places are receiving. I said, great, let me come to Minnesota and we'll make this video about potential fraud that was taking place inside of Minnesota. We go to a daycare, and I'm instantly surprised by what we see. We arrived, and it was an industrialized building, and there was 2 daycares registered at that daycare.
Right next to each other.
And the first thing I noticed is all the windows are blacked out, and there's no footprints in the snow of any children. There's no playgrounds or anything that would make it look like it's a child care. But above me, a sign read, open 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. But there was nobody there. The doorbell did not even work.
That's a long time.
And then we continued to go to other daycares, and we noticed the same pattern.
Wow.
No children.
We saw this video.
Windows. And
the
one
origin
daycare,
story? Yeah. I'm learning so much.
Learning Center, spelled Quality Learning Center instead of Quality Learning Center.
Okay.
They had received $1.9 million, yet with that $1.9 million, they could not even spell leering right on their sign. Governor Walz has said he's been fighting fraud in Minnesota since 2019.
You're right. He has been fighting with fraud, not against it. That's the problem.
Said the buck stops with him. However, how long would it take for you to notice $1 million leaving your bank account and not knowing where it's going?
How long would it take for you to notice $9 billion leaving your bank account? I feel like that'd be pretty fast. I feel like you could figure that out and be like, whoa, what's going on here?
That's essentially what had been happening in Minnesota for years as billions of dollars has been misplaced. And meanwhile, while people like Governor Tim Walz call people like me a white supremacist, delusional conspiracy theorist, he actually decided to drop out of re-election because I believe of how deep and extensive this fraud is.
That's a good point, too. Is that if Nick was wrong about everything, then why did Tim Walz instantly fold? He folded in like 2 days of this video getting released. I wonder.
Thank you very much. Since my reporting, the HHS department froze over $185 million, and to this day, not a single business has been able to prove proof of legitimacy. How fast would you be proving that you are a legitimate business if you have children to actually feed and to take care of? You'd be sending in that paperwork instantly. I mean,
no, you couldn't send the paperwork because a bad actor broke in the middle of the night and they didn't steal any of your computers or anything valuable or any of the money, but they happened to just steal all of your paperwork. And so they were going to turn in the paperwork, but unfortunately, somebody broke into the building and they stole it all. Oh,
this video to document the
guys.
widespread fraud that has been taking place.
Don't
as
you
I
hate
truly
when that
believe
happens?
all fraud is bad. And people like me, my generation, we're sick of seeing tax dollars go towards fraud. We just want to have the same opportunities that our fathers and our grandparents had. And when you see people making millions of dollars by committing fraud, it upsets everybody from all age demographics.
Well, not everybody,
And so I hope today we can have a good conversation, and I think we can all agree that fraud is bad and that fraud is fraud. And I wish the best for our country, and I think that's what needs to be happening, is to crack down on all forms of fraud. So thank you for having me, and God bless the USA.
Man. You've got to really respect Nick Shirley, right? I mean, he's not a great public speaker, and I think he knows that. And everybody else is always making fun of him, but he keeps going up there, and he keeps putting himself out there, even in front of Congress. I think that's really respectable. It is. That's tremendously respectable. And I mean, like, I'd have a hard time doing that. I'll be honest. I would. And he's out there, he's going out there and he's putting his money where his mouth is, and he's trying to actually advocate for a change that's beneficial. I think that really matters a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Shirley, thank you for your testimony today and the work that you've done. You know, Americans hear these numbers of the fraud that we have, and you know, whether it's 10,000 or 10 million or 10 billion, sometimes the numbers, you almost become desensitized to it.
Yeah.
And so the way that your video was able to show people the fraud sort of in real life actually happening, I think opened a lot of eyes and has helped to catalyze a level of scrutiny that we really should have had before. So you mentioned in your testimony that you think that what you discovered in Minnesota,
tip of the iceberg.
that this is not isolated to that state, but likely exists in other parts of the country as well, correct?
It's worse in other parts of the country. It's infinitely worse. Minnesota is a small state. Like in Texas and California, Minnesota is like nothing.
Correct.
What makes you think that?
Well, now you're seeing
common fucking sense, bro. Think about it for 3 seconds. Think about it for 3 seconds. You're gonna know.
Since I've posted that video, lots of other people have started to go to other locations.
New York,
in Ohio, or in Maine, or in California. They're also seeing the similar fraud take place in other daycares, for instance.
We can get that money back. I think any of the people that we send back from Somalia, we should seize all their assets and all their bank account stuff and then redistribute it to people that are supposed to be here. That's what I would do. Like, any of the people that we catch doing this, we should just take all their money and send them back. Straight up. Sorry, bro. Like, you losing all your shit. They need to pay it all back? They can't pay it. How can they pay it all back? They're just fucking morons. I gotta pay it back.
A lot of other locations.
Yeah, I have a particular interest in California, being from that state. And we know that there's been a lot of fraud. There was $32.6 billion.
I heard that Gavin Newsom spent $20 billion on homelessness, and the homeless population went from like 12 million to 15 million. It's like the more money he spends on homelessness, the more homeless people there are. How does that happen? Really? It's crazy, huh? Is he spending the money to make more homeless people?
It's been confirmed in unemployment insurance fraud. There's 1.2 million fraudulent community college applications. Have you gotten any sense, or have you seen any signs there that sort of are similar to what aroused your suspicions in Minnesota?
Yeah.
I think that California is the nexus of this. California is probably the worst state in the entire country that has this problem. And I think that it's easy to come to that conclusion because, number one, it's a Democrat state, so they put up with this bullshit because they need these people for votes. And number two, it's the biggest state, and it has the biggest economy. Like, logically, anybody could come to the conclusion that California is the biggest one. And I think Texas and Florida are probably also in the top 10 as well because they're the biggest states.
And fraud in California might be worse than the fraud in Minnesota.
I think it's probably, if I was going to guess, it's probably 5 times worse.
Makes you say that.
Clip it.
Well, $24 billion went missing for homelessness. They've been trying to build this train for years, yet there's hardly anything to prove for that. Fires.
Yeah, those are good points. So you look at let's run through a couple of those. Because I mentioned the areas where we have confirmed fraud, but then you also have these areas where you have so much spending, and then we look at what results from that spending, and there's nothing. So,
well, at a certain point, if you have that much spending and it's resulting in nothing, then what's the difference between that and fraud? Really, ask yourself that question. When something is so badly managed that it looks like fraud, then maybe it basically is.
So, $24 billion in homelessness, and yet the homeless population went up, and a state audit found that they couldn't even figure out where the money went or what the outcomes linked to that spending were. Is that something?
If that happens, all of those people should instantly go to jail. Instantly, they should be investigated. Every communication device they should have should be fucking subpoenaed for discovery. And they should go through everything that this person said and done. They should pull every bank account they have and their immediate family members have. Like, how do they does nobody in the government care? This is what I think happens. Like, they're so stupid and they just don't care that they can't even apply this at all. It's crazy, isn't it?
That is kind of a red flag for you?
Yeah, it's a major red flag, and you don't even have to be smart to be able to know that that's a red flag.
Well, unfortunately, our state legislators haven't managed to figure that out, or at least the governor hasn't. So what are you saying about him?
They're not smart. No, but yeah, I mean, it's so obvious.
I think that they are smart. I think they're doing this on purpose. I think they're intentionally letting this happen in order to ensure these people's votes. I think this is entirely done on purpose. There's not any accident here. There's not any mistake being made. This is all working according to plan. It's not a bug, it's a feature.
And that's what we saw in Minnesota, is how complicit the government has been in enabling this fraud to happen. Quality Learning Center had over 90 violations, yet they continue to give that daycare $1.9 million.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great point. That there's
90
the political accountability just hasn't been there, and that's what enables it to continue. So then you mentioned the high-speed rail.
Political accountability isn't enough. You have to have criminal accountability. Whenever you take $1 million of the taxpayers' money and then you put it towards bullshit and you don't do your job properly, you need to go to jail because you stole $1 million from the American taxpayer. There has to be accountability for this, and it has to be serious, brutal, specific, and totally unrelenting accountability that there is no form of reprieve from, excuse for at all. It's an exploit? Yeah. You have to go as hard as you possibly can. He's enjoying this? Yeah, he loves this. He's loving this.
As well. So there has been about $18 billion spent so far. No track has been laid, and not a single passenger has ridden the train. So when you spend $18 billion on a train and there's no train, does that raise suspicions for you?
Yes.
Where'd it go?
So you think that might be something worth looking at?
For sure.
We also had a $650 million 911 service that they scrapped after 6 years, so absolutely no value from it. Maybe that's another example where there might at least be questions.
Yeah.
I think you got a lot in California.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to seeing what you find. We're certainly trying to use whatever tools we have here to bring more accountability in California as well.
I'm glad to see this, and at least some people are buying into this. I'm glad to see it. Where is it here?
We go to a daycare, and I'm instantly surprised by what we see. We arrived, and it was an industrialized building.
Oh, I saw this part. Okay, good. And anyway, where is this? This is the other beginning of it as well. I don't know if there's any other information that's worth looking at here, but I am really glad to see Nick Shirley coming out. Oh, is this it?
I think I saw the video. We watched it, and
isn't it crazy that Nick Shirley made this video and it seems like every single person in the government's seen the video? I really feel like this is the last, like, this is a really, really substantial point. Like, it really, this is super, super rare to have something that has this level of penetration. Oh my God.
It looked like it was a number of facilities, like, in the same building.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was like,
so
like 15
in one
of them.
building, there was, I believe,
like 30, actually.
3 daycares, and there was no children. And they were all receiving CCAP funding for separate daycares. There's one daycare we went to that one day it was closed by the government, and then that same day it was reopened underneath another name. and they both received CCAT funding.
Yep, exactly. That's it. And another nail in the coffin to traditional media. Yeah, I mean, no, it did have good penetration. No, that's a media word. It's a media word, guys. Like, it means that, like, a lot of people saw it. That's not crazy to say. It's not at all. Okay, let's see if there's anything else that's worth looking at. And people have had enough. Yeah, exactly. Again,
instantly surprised by what we see.
We saw this one too before, and
I'm instantly...
Yeah, what is it? The frauds connected to Democrat politicians, they'll go hard with this? Absolutely they should. And I think that in a lot of cases, they are connected. But the thing is that you have to find people that understand how to make the connections.
Can you confirm how many daycare centers you personally visited in Minnesota during your investigation?
During that first video, we went to around 7.
How did you select those facilities? I know you said earlier footprints in the snow, but how is it that you identified those facilities to go to initially?
So the man David in the video, he had the daycares with the CCAT funding, and we just simply drove around Minnesota and around Minneapolis area.
Took a lot of courage to do that, I would imagine. Probably more so now than what it was when you initially did it.
Yeah.
100 million views, you said.
More than that.
Yes, over 140 million views on X alone.
So what was Mr. David's background? How did you connect with him?
Oh my God.
And how did he call you or did you reach out?
He simply is just a man in Minnesota who has a passion for his city, and he's been seeing fraud taking place for years. And out of all the thousands of messages I get on Instagram and other platforms, I just happened to read his, and he provided me the information, so I gave him a phone call.
And then from there, just went to those different facilities. What was probably the most interesting thing as you were doing this? I think I saw the video. We watched it, and
this is the part I saw.
There was a number of facilities like in the same building.
Yes.
The healthcare was even worse than the daycare.
I believe
the daycare was like not even close to as bad as that.
And they were all receiving CCAT funding for separate daycares. There's one daycare.
Why didn't the FBI catch this?
One day,
morons.
It was closed.
Well, they're not even morons. They don't care.
And then that same day, it was reopened underneath another name.
And they were trying to hide it.
CCAT funding.
I bet, Ms. Larson, they probably weren't getting audited nearly like you were.
I would guess not.
So how many daycares are there in Minneapolis we think are fraudulent right now? Ms. Shirley, any idea?
How many daycares are there?
The amount of money total? You got any idea on that?
Well, they've frozen over $185 million, and not a single business has been able to prove that they're a legitimate business yet.
So this is another thing, too, is that have you noticed that they froze all of the funding for these daycares, but not a single daycare has come out and not a single parent has come out and said, I was sending my kid to this daycare, but now that the funding has been split and stopped, that I'm not able to send my kid to the daycare? Isn't that weird? I mean, maybe there's one or two. I'm sure there's got to be one or two. But like with how many daycares there were, you'd expect there to be like thousands, right? But for some reason, there's not. Oh, I really wonder why. It's another fucking mystery.